What's going on? It's your boy DuuNo.
And it's your boy Big Merv here. You know what it is.
Yes, sir. Tapping in for another edition of scenedms, season 3, issue 39, the 1 in 24 hours. And the title speaks for itself, Merv. We're talking about films that take place within the duration of one day or within 24 hours. Could be a night, whatever. I don't know. Day. But these are going to be very exciting. But before we get into it, I had a quick question. We know it's a big weekend coming up, not only because my brother Cinco's birthday is coming up, but
Jeez.
yeah, Jeez. More life. That means that we're getting older.
Jeez.
But also, Bad Boys 4 comes out this week. So I kind of wanted to ask you what your expectations were for the movie, knowing that you've seen them. And Merv, they've been going pretty hard, on this press tour. You know what I mean? They've been really going to every interview, going to different radio stations. They're really making it feel like it's the 90s, and they're going on that Tom Cruise type run.
Yo,
it's like,
Will's not playing, bro. You already know he's not playing. He's actually being like very intentional about like what he's doing and where he's going. People he's having in his ads, like having Lionel Messi in the ad, fam. Like, come on,
Jimmy
fam.
Butler,
and making Lionel Messi speak English, and people are like, "Yo, we've never heard the man speak English before."
Right.
And talking about Bad Boys. Like, come on, bro.
Right.
But nah, bro. I'm pretty excited about it. You know, it's one of the things that me and my aunt watched together. So I definitely have to wait to watch it. But I'm really excited about it. Excited to see where it goes. How well, essentially, it is, because like Will always says, he says he doesn't do sequels unless there's like something to it. You know what I mean? And obviously they're already on their 4th movie of Bad Boys, so this is more than he would have done. I mean, this is more than Men in Black. He did 3 Men in Black. I mean, so he for him to go on for the 4th one, it must be something to it. So I'm really excited for it. And then I'm on top of that, I'm excited for. So I think you might bring it up, but I'm gonna just say it anyway. We sent it to each other, and I'm just super excited for I Am Legend 2. Seeing that they had their sit downs and everything went well and everything like that, I think that it's a step in the right direction. And as long as it makes it past that part, then we're good. But and Will said that the story is pretty good, and he enjoys it, and he thinks it's like something that people will resonate with. So as long as it's like that and it's a continuation of the last story, I'm very interested to see how it is, because the zombies. Yeah. That's why I'm amped to see how it is and like what they're gonna do. But he said him and MBJ are gonna be on the screen together, Michael B. Jordan. So we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. And I like the fact that it came from Will Smith himself. So often we hear these reports, right, of these rumors where it's like, yo, the movie's in development, or they scrapped this, or they're changing that, or this person dropped out the cast. But getting a live update from Will Smith as he's on the press tour doing this Bad Boys 4 run and updating us on the I Am Legend 2 possibilities with MBJ is amazing, especially because we get to see kind of those 2 different generations collide in a sense. I'm not saying they're both the best at, the best of their generations, but they're one of the best of their generations in terms of actors. So seeing them share the screen together is going to be magical, and I can't wait to see what they have in store, like you said. And for Bad Boys 4, my expectations aren't too high, Merv. I know what I'm going to get, if that makes sense. With Will Smith getting older, with Martin Lawrence getting older, I'm just happy to see them on screen together again. It's one of those for me personally. Like I'm not going there with the high expectations of like the story has to be crazy or the character development has to be this. I'm just hoping there's some good moments with some great action sequences, and then just the chemistry between them, of them making me laugh again, is something that I always love to see. So that's pretty much my expectations for the Bad Boy 4 movie coming out this week. I can totally agree. Will Smith and Martin getting older is obviously in itself disheartening, because it's like, yo, like our favorite guys are getting old, our favorite actors are getting old. And even just like the video we watched, or you sent me, like I think it was a while ago, like Morgan Freeman, and most of his like career has been past 50. Like most of the parts that we know are past 50. You know what I mean? And it's like we're seeing all these people like get old. We saw Jack Nicholson at the Lakers game, was it last year, and stuff, and he's looking old. Like all these people, all of our like favorites, and all the people in the in the movie industry are getting old. So it's kind of like sad, but also like at the same time, like it's cool seeing that they're still trying to go. Like even like Eddie Murphy with Beverly Hills Cop. You know what I mean? Like they're coming out with that.
You saw the side by side picture of the cast and seeing them. Just seeing
it's
how
it's like, yo, everybody's old now, and Axel Foley is like, you know what I mean? Like it's just like I guess like it's cool, like because it's like a nice retelling of these stories or a continuation of these stories. But it is sad seeing that. So
them side by side, just so cool to see. Like you said, them getting older. But I think it's also a beautiful thing, Merv, because often our heroes are our favorites. We see them pass away at a young age. So in a weird sense, it's kind of gratifying seeing them reach old age so beautifully.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But like what you're saying is true. It's just like seeing them get older. It's like it's tough, man. It's tough, but nevertheless, I'm excited. But before we get to Act One, I want to ask you, what are some of the things that makes these movies that have premises that are drawn out within 24 hours such a good and entertaining watch for you? Like, what makes these kind of movies something that you gravitate towards? Because there's a lot of these kind of movies. And I feel like we say this every time, right? We always be like, yo, this topic, there might not be a lot. And then when we, do our research or we think of like our past favorites or certain things that could qualify for whatever we're speaking about in this particular episode, it's like, yo, there's a lot of heaters, underrated, classics, et cetera, et cetera.
Nah, facts. I feel like the interesting part about it, I think, is that like so much stuff can happen within a day. And I think that's what makes it like interesting. Cause like if you think about your own life and like your busiest day, like honestly, something like that, like obviously not to that extreme, like certain things, but like those things could happen. Mm-hmm. And even in one of the movies I'll talk about later, like they looked up and like bare stuff has happened in the movie. And then they looked up and they're like, yo, nigga, it's been like 10 minutes, like 15 minutes. They literally said in the movie because something was happening. But they're like, yo, are you being serious? It's only been 15 minutes that all this has been going on? They're like, yeah, bro, it's only been 15 minutes. And like, there's so much stuff that goes on. So it's like interesting because we think of time like so interestingly. I don't know how to say, I need to find a different word because I say interesting too much. But, but I find time like, it intrigues like my thought, like everything to do with time travel, all that stuff, like always does. Mm-hmm. And so to even think that so much stuff can happen within a small period of time, it's always like funny, like those memes, like people are like, if you want a minute to last long, then go and do a plank. You know what I mean? We know, or go do a wall sit. You know what I mean? Or like all that stuff. And, you know what I mean? Play defense. You know what I mean? Go play full court defense for whatever. And it's going to be the longest 24 seconds ever in your life. But like everybody's like, it's only 24 seconds. Like I'm like, nah, bro. 24 seconds on the court seems like 5 hours off the court. You know what I mean? Exactly. So I think that's what's interesting about it. Is a simple fact that we can see it like in us as watching it. We see it as like, yo, 30 minutes has gone by in the movie. But for them in the movie, it's like it's only been like 10, 15 minutes. So that's what I find interesting or intriguing, since I'm trying to bump up my vocab for the pod. That's what I find intriguing about that giant. So
I rate it. I like that answer because I think you're right. There's so much that could happen in one day, and that's what I love about these movies. Is that for me, it highlights the fact that time is precious, and every single decision, whether big or small to you, could affect and impact yourself or the people around you. So that's what I enjoy most about these movies. Obviously, you have to add the heightened drama for the urgency and for the action and for certain things to click or not, because there's some movies that I know we're going to talk about in the next act that you and I, talk about with that, where it's the lack of drama or the lack of action. And, some people don't like that. But either way, I just think, like you said, we could see ourselves, our lives reflected in these type of films because anything could happen in one day. And like you said, Merv, there's days where you're pretty chill, but there's days where your busiest days, like I like what you said, your busiest days, it's like, there's some times where you're like, bro, I did that, bro. Like I really, and when you get a chance to sit down and understand like all the things you accomplished or you actually went through, it's like, wow.
Yeah. So it's like in the summertime, like, us as hoopers and stuff, usually in the summertime is around training time. And if you get up at like 5 o'clock in the morning, do some running, shooting, a workout, and you do a lift, and you look at it, it's 12 o'clock, and you're like, bro, I've done everything already today that I'm supposed to do. And it's before 12 o'clock. But then there's days where you wake up later, and then it's like, yo, the time is going by so fast. So I think it's just perception. And I feel like time is always moving no matter what we're doing. Time is always going to be moving. We can't stop time. So I feel like the fact that we get to see that exact same thing in movies is the part of it that catches our eye personally, because I feel like when we're watching movies, like usually there's not like a time frame. There's not like, oh, it just like goes. Maybe they'll say like 10 years later or those kind of things, or it's the next day, but they never they never like say like how many minutes it took to do this, or how many minutes it took to do this, or how many hours it took to do this. It's just usually it's predicated around like days, you know what I mean, weeks, months, and stuff like that. But it's never all the way down to like seconds, in which some of these movies actually come down to seconds,
literally,
of like stuff like that. So I think that's what. So that's my long spiel about why I actually enjoy movies that like are in 24 hours, just simply because of that.
And it's a perfect segue. Perfect segue, because I want to ask you, what would you do if you only had 24 hours in a day? I wouldn't say to live, but I guess that what it comes down to. But if you,
obviously, if it's to live, then I have to do a lot more stuff than just a random day.
Right, a random day. But yeah, what would you do? What would you do if you had like 24 hours? And the reason why I said not just to live is because remember in the movie 25th Hour, it's not like he's gonna die. It's just that he's gonna go to prison. So it's like, what would you do on your last day? So I mean, obviously there are circumstances, but if you had 24 hours and I just said, hey, Merv, 24 hours, what would you do in a day?
And
you're
am I going to jail or am I dying? Which one?
I guess it makes a difference. Let's go. Let's say you're dying.
All right, cool. I'm dying, and how much money do I have in my bank account? The amount that I have now? Or do I have like an unlimited amount of bank money?
Unlimited, you want? Unlimited.
All right, cool. All right, then I'm bringing everybody together, all family, friends, and everybody, all loved ones, everybody I care about, even like the loved ones of my loved ones. You know what I mean? Everybody, everything.
You get a plus one. You get a plus one.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? And then bringing them all out to. Honestly, I'm gonna cheat it. I'm gonna cheat it. So I'm gonna travel. I'm gonna get everybody to come with me. Okay. Right? This is how you're gonna cheat it. They're all gonna travel with me to like Japan or Australia. And then start there, because that's where the time is. We're ahead technically. So then when we go back, when we fly back, we're gaining more time. So technically we're getting more than 24 hours, obviously. So that's what I'm gonna do, is like we're gonna try to go through every like time zone. So like maybe we spend some time here in this place, whatever, eat like this food, do this, like have everything already prepared and everything like that. Obviously from details down to everything. Fly to like a different country in a different time zone, fly to a different country in a different time zone, all with the family, all with everybody, and trying to do everything I can. Having extra maids, nannies, all that stuff that can help out with the kids and everything like that. And I think that's what I'll do. Like even for me, I'm always, as you know, and as we are, like we're family oriented. So like for me, it's always going to be family, like no matter what. Family, and then friends that have become family, like you and like moms, and Cinco, like stuff like that. Like that's family to me. So like for that, I always think about everybody. I don't just think about like, oh, like myself. Like what am I gonna do? Like no. Like I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get my bros. I'm gonna get Tay. I'm gonna get her sister. I'm gonna get her mom, her dad. I'm gonna bring everybody that I can. Everybody that I can fit into the 24 hours to like make sure that even if they're not there for me, because I mean they're probably not. Like I just want to make sure that people around me are enjoying this day too, and this is a day that it's memorable for everybody and not just myself. So that's me personally. I'm just like I'm not trying to boost myself up to everybody. But I'm very selfless, and like I think more about like other people than I do.
You're a selfless guy. If you weren't, I would say it, bro. I'd be honest. Yeah, this guy's lying, man. Cap.
But what about you though?
For me, I mean, obviously, I would try to live out my Bruce Wayne, dreams, and try to be a vigilante, like the Black Batman, through the streets of Toronto, probably by.
How? Batman does this stuff at night, fam. It's such the entire vibe. When are you starting at? 1 a.m.? Start
my day at 1 a.m. And then I'll play. I'll probably do something similar to you, get the family together. And for me, I would do something that I've never experienced. I think because we've been watching a lot of these space movies, I really, there's something about me that is intrigued by going to space. I wouldn't be doing what all these other people are doing.
Are you insane? All right, do you, fam.
If
you're gonna die anyway, I guess. But
that's what I'm saying. Just go big or go home, right? I'm going home regardless. So pause.
Holy.
But yeah, something like
last
that.
Day on. Last day, let's go big on. Hey, do you?
Hey, Nah. You know what, man? I'm sticking with my Batman answer. Don't forget, everybody. Listen, man.
Question. Sorry, before you continue with the Batman, are you gonna do? Are you gonna be up for 24 hours, or like you gonna be up for 24 hours so you can like live out all the 24 hours?
24 hours, yeah. I would be up. I wouldn't go to sleep, and we do that. Shoot, we do that regardless now, anyways.
Yeah.
But I have a flight in the morning. Please, I'm not going to sleep. I'll sit up all day.
This is true. This is true.
So I'm not. Nothing new to me. But before we go to Act 1, man, let's take a quick timeout. Quick media timeout, and we back with more scenedms.
You had 24 hours to live. Just think, where would you go? What would you do? Who would you screw? And who would you want to notify? Or would your ass deny that your ass about to die? You had 24 hours.
What's going on? It's issue 39, the one in 24 hours. And man, it's going to be a great episode. I'm excited about this one. I had a great time reviewing these films, watching these movies, doing my research, my due diligence on these films. I have premises that involve taking place through the duration of either a day or 24 hours. Merv, what are some of the better films? We'll do what we always do and just debate, discuss, and talk about some of these movies that fit the criteria. But what are some of the better favorite films that you have that involve happening over 24 hours?
All right. So some of the favorite or the best. I mean, some of these I was very shocked because I thought some of these were actually good. Some of these weren't as good, I don't think, personally. I think, so one of them on the top of my list, as in like just check marks that I watched, was Assault on Precinct 13.
Okay.
The one from 1970. I just want to clarify
taking it back.
What year. Huh? Yeah, you know what I mean? And you know me, as we talked about before.
This is surprising.
Yeah, because I don't like old movies, but this movie I actually really, really enjoyed. Just type it in. I need to make sure my tag on Precinct 13. All right, cool. Came out in 1976. Starring Darwin Johnston, Austin Stoker, Tony Burton, Laurie Zimmer. I mean, it's a bunch of people. I have no idea who these people are for the most part, except for John Carpenter. And this is the movie I was talking about, where in the film, essentially, this precinct is shutting down.
Yep.
And they're trying to move all the stuff out of the precinct to go to a different precinct. And a man runs in. His backstory is his daughter got shot by these random gang guys that are just like going around killing people for no reason. And so then he went and shot one of their main guys. And he ran into the precinct thinking it was still open, but it's not open. So then the whole gang is like a big time gang, go and cut off the lights, cut off the power, cut off everything. And they start lighting up the precinct.
Let me guess what it is.
This is a siege. It's a goddamn siege.
And all this stuff go on, whatever. And it goes on for a little bit. And then that's the part where they're like, yo, you're telling me that this all just happened within 15 minutes? And the man's like, yeah, bro, it's only been 15 minutes. And they're like, yo, what? And then they have to like try to stay alive to like 4 a.m. and stuff like that. And it's like a whole thing, and it's hilarious, but it's a really good old time movie.
Yep.
I think it's very quick, right, to the point. Obviously there's still little lull moments in the acting a bit, but I actually enjoyed it for the most part. It was a watch that I was glad I did watch. So that's number one on the list of things that I watched just for this week. Some of the old ones that I can just run through real quick that we already talked about, so I won't give it too much time, is Training Day, Collateral, Reservoir Dogs. Those are the ones that we've already talked about. So I'm
happy you did that and gave it his flowers. We didn't want to repeat ourselves.
Yeah, we don't want to repeat ourselves, but we have talked about these exclusively before, so I don't want to go too much into it. Another one that's a favorite of mine is Phone Booth with Colin Farrell, where he is in a literal phone booth, and he gets a call by somebody like just making this weird voices and like weird things, talking to him, saying he knows what he's wearing, he knows how you look, and also so the man just think he's gassing. But then it starts turning into like this whole thing where like people start dying, he gets shot. Yeah, I mean it's a crazy thriller. I always recommend watching Phone Booth.
Forrest Whitaker,
Who the fuck is this?
Don't even think about leaving that phone booth.
Wrong number, pal.
It was a perfectly delicious pizza, and you're certainly going to wish you had accepted it.
Oh, naturally, this is part of the same gag, the pizza bit. That was some funny shit.
Yeah, well, its purpose was to keep your strength up for what's coming next.
What's coming next is I'm hanging up.
Oh, no, you won't. You're going to learn to obey me.
Bare people in it. I actually really enjoyed that one. So, but that's a classic. So that's another one.
Classic.
So the ones I already watched this movie, but I added it to the list. And watched it again just for refresher. I haven't seen it in years. It's Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Bueller.
And I think that I really, really enjoyed the film. If nobody knows about that movie or those movies, you must be living under a rock, because Ferris Bueller's Day Off is one of the most pop culture known films of, like, I feel like all time, honestly.
All time.
With Matthew Broderick, Alan Ruck, Mia Sarah, Jeffrey Jones, Jennifer Grey. It's like a bunch of people that you've seen before, but probably they're not like big time stars, except for Matthew Broderick,
right,
who play Simba in Lion King,
right,
the original Lion King. And it talks about Ferris Bueller. He's like one of the most popular people in town. They're based out of Illinois. He's like one of the popular people in town, popular people in high school. And he just calls off sick, tricks his parents in the car. And so we know we used to try to do that, you know what I mean? To try to get off sick and be like, oh,
we always try to do that, man.
You know what I mean? It maybe worked twice max. Barely worked because she wouldn't allow it. But and he just, like, they cruise around Illinois, mainly Chicago, downtown Chicago actually, and then it's just a nice tale about who Ferris Bueller is and, like, how he just doesn't care. And there's a lot of, like, undertone of a lot of different things about, like, who he is as a person.
Yeah.
And, like, how he kind of is, like, he cares about people, but only if it benefits him.
Yeah.
And then also on top of that is, like, people don't think that he'll be successful. They think that high school will be the highlight of his life.
It's
like,
the fear of
the
coming of age type film. So it's like the fear of reaching maturity, right? That's the kind of films that Judd Apatow, like, kind of thrived on, where it's have these guys be so reluctantly accepting of, bro, you're growing up. Like, accept the fact that you're growing up. High school is not the end all be all. It's not the ceiling of your popularity or the ceiling of life or your success, right? So you definitely made a great point about that.
No, I think that's what, like, a part that I took from it, since I watched it before and it was not just straight for the plot. I thought that from a deeper sense, they were like, it was like kind of a sad story about Bueller. You know what I mean? It was more of a story about, like, yo, this is the highlight of his life. Like, these days are the highlights of his life. And, like, we don't know what happens to him after it. And another one that was confirmed to be in the same universe.
Wait. Can I just say something about that real quick?
Yeah.
Because I was going to mention, because you mentioned, obviously, you know who directs it, John Hughes. And I feel like John Hughes is so great for making these kind of films. Obviously, you're going to talk about another one that I'm sure he directed. That.
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
I know you, Zach. I'm here with it. But I wanted to say the reason why I like Ferris Bueller so much, personally, is because he breaks the fourth wall, Merv, which is something that wasn't a common thing to have been doing in film. And I like that he speaks directly to the camera and to the audience and literally shows us, like, yo, these are my thoughts and this is my techniques of how I'm going to get out of this. And I thought that was just so cool, because it's like, it didn't really feel like a movie to me. It just felt like I was a part of his journey and a part of his life. You know what I mean?
Incredible. One of the worst performances of my career, and they never doubted it for a second. How could I possibly be expected to handle school on a day like this? Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it. You fake a stomach cramp, and when you're bent over, moaning and wailing, you lick your palms. It's a little childish and stupid, but then so is high school.
And truly, that's what I was thinking about. I was thinking about the entire time, like, yo, is this, like, obviously the first time they broke the fourth wall, but, like, is it, like, one of the most, I feel like it's one of the most iconic fourth wall breaks. And it's so interesting how, like, he went about it, because fourth wall breaking is interesting because it's like narrating. He's narrating his own stuff, but he's also acting it. Like, it's like he's literally talking to the camera. Yeah. And then on top of that, you don't know if the people around him are hearing him when he's narrating, or his pops or his mom is right there and he's talking to the camera and he's talking, like, you know what I mean? There's a bunch of stuff going on. But I think that that was another great film to kind of depict kind of the life of high schoolers back in the day. And another John Hughes movie, The Breakfast Club. Yes, sir. Obviously, a classic, a cult classic. On Ferris Bueller and Breakfast Club are cult classics, and very much so of pop culture classics as well. And The Breakfast Club was an interesting one. I've never seen it before, actually, which is obviously everybody's gonna think whatever, but I've never seen it before. Watched it, and I thought it was kind of boring, dull. I thought it was like. I feel like I probably would have resonated with it a little more if I was still in high school, younger,
yes,
and everything
part of
like
those
that.
times,
I feel like that would have been if I watched it when I was in high school. Maybe I'd have been like, "Yo, this is so tough." But like I was watching it, and I was like, "It was good." Like, don't get me wrong, and like there's some classic parts in there, but I don't feel the same like, oh, it's like one of the greatest movies of all time or so iconic movie as like I'm sure everybody else does. But it was about 5 kids who were at Saturday at school for detention, where they had to sit there from 7:00 in the morning till 3 p.m. in the afternoon. And they're all people from different walks of life: athlete, popular girl, weird girl. I don't know how to explain him. Nerdy boy, and the next man who's just like, I don't know what kind of title you would give him, but he's like the bad boy kind of guy.
Yeah.
And it just goes through the tale of them like technically kind of becoming friends at the end. And I think that it's cool, it's cute, but like again, like I don't think it wasn't a movie for me at the time. I don't know if I'm overstepping on some of yours, but I was just going down my list real quick before. I know that I might step on some of yours still. I know we texted about a couple, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna try to.
No, go ahead. No, trust me. Do you, bro? Do you? I think I try to pick things that I think we wouldn't have.
I try to too. So I mean, that's what I'm saying. So, so I'm gonna go with the next ones. There's Die Hard and Die Hard 2 with John McClane, classic movies. Now those movies I rocked with because action movies, Bruce Willis. Like, how can you go wrong with that?
Can't go wrong with that.
And it's like a very cop-based movie where he's trying to save the day, even though he's just a cop. It reminded me a lot of like Mike in Breaking Bad, like, nigga, how do you have all these abilities and how is nobody killing you, but you're able to kill everybody else? Obviously, you can do everything in the world, but like nobody. You know,
and you're a regular cop, please.
Regular cop.
You would have been like,
New York, but they emphasize New York cop, like New York cop.
He would have been John Wick, first of all.
Thank you. But yeah, so Die Hard, obviously. If you don't know, is about 2 terrorist takeovers. One is by a German man who's trying to steal bear money from this company, and John McClane's there to see his wife, ex-kind-of-ish wife. They're kind of in a tricky place, and he's there on the night that they try to take over the building, and he helps take it down the terrorists. So it's really good film. Number 2, he's at the airport waiting on his wife to fly in. Again, everything's always pertaining to his wife. And then it's actually an American man that actually is trying to be a terrorist.
Stewart's got some explosives on the equipment in the church rigged with a remote. Where's Grant? Grant's boys are gonna kill that son of a bitch and get it from him.
They're gonna do that. They're gonna get on the same goddamn plane with him and take off with him.
Get the fuck out of here.
When the Army canned Stewart, he must have loaded that unit with his own men.
Are you nuts? That firefight at the house.
Sideshow to jerk us off. Buy him some time.
McClane, you are completely around the fucking bend. You know that? And you know what else? You're under arrest. You must.
So yeah, Die Hard 2. Those are another ones that are take place in 24 hours.
Elite.
And then I have Dog Day Afternoon. I just bucked my teeth on the mic. Holy. Dog Day Afternoon with Al Pacino. Never seen it before. Thought it was a very interesting film.
Interesting, yes.
Very interesting. And
my first watch, it's interesting.
I'm not going to say intriguing because it wasn't intriguing. It was just very interesting.
Yeah.
I think Al Pacino played it like the most coked up man I've ever seen in my life, he probably was coked up. And I think that it really portrayed like a real like desperate robber that doesn't really have a plan, smart, but doesn't really have like a set plan. Like, and he's not really willing to like die for the cause. You know what I mean? Like he just went in there with this like one track mind and then like had to like deviate from it and didn't know what to do, was frantic, was too friendly as a robber and person that kidnapping people. He was way too friendly. He was way too, but he did have iconic lines like Annika and Annika and all that stuff and Attica and all that stuff. So I think that was pretty cool about the movie.
He wants to kill me so bad he can taste it.
Oh, God, I was going to kill him.
Attica!
What are you
Attica!
But yeah, I think Al Pacino did a good job. That's it takes place in 24 hours again. Probably less. Most of these ones actually take place in less than 24 hours personally. So,
no, I was gonna say I also like the co-star. I forgot his name. He passed away. He was a really good actor. He was in the Godfather series as well. But it's kind of cool whenever we see these movies where we're always like, hey. Those two guys played, and then they not reprise their role, but they act together.
Kind of do, exactly.
Yeah, kind of, exactly. So the co-star. There's one part that I didn't rock with. So yeah, I know.
No. There's one part I didn't rock with where the co-star, God rest his soul, like R.I.P. But the man, they were doing like a human shield with the people, and like obviously the snipers up top and everything like that. And I'm just like, respectfully to the man, again, R.I.P. Like, all love to the man. But that man's forehead was so big that there was no way they had so much area to work with to shoot the man. I was like, bro, this is so unrealistic. I said, fam, I was like, all right, guys, let's be realistic for 2 seconds. I said, bro, the man's forehead, I can see it from over here. Like, come on, guys, like, let's be serious. And I'm not even trying to be disrespectful. I'm just trying to make the realistic sense of the movie. But then they ended up shooting for the man's head top anyway at the end. So I'm like, all right, cool. Not to spoil it, sorry, but I'm just like, yo, I'm
bro,
like,
something's wrong with you, bro. You need help.
I just said be realistic. That's what I'm saying. Just be realistic. Anyways, moving on to the next one. The next one is classic film that I've never seen, which is also another like high school film, and it's also another like I feel like I would resonate with it more if I was still in high school. But it is Dazed and Confused.
Oh, yes, sir. I love
it. I'm sorry if I took yours, but
no.
Obviously with Matthew McConaughey, Ben Affleck, what's the other names?
Bro,
I think those are the top ones, right?
Nah, but they also had Eddie from Friends.
Yeah. Exactly.
I forgot his name.
I forget his name. Yeah, I know exactly. Yeah, exactly. That was interesting because I felt like the kids were living in their like own world. Like it wasn't a world run by adults. Like that's how I felt watching it because they were doing so much wild stuff. Like kids weren't going to class. Kids were like smoking in between classes.
But I ain't gonna lie. This is one that sorry to cut you off. This is one of the reasons why I like Dazed and Confused is because that was a time in high school where I feel like it was, we kind of were in that period a little bit.
Because it was 90s. It was 90s.
But we were, where it's just like that was guanin', bro. Like people were just doing their own thing and it was way more free flowing and it wasn't, but there were still like, even though these guys were acting a fool and doing, it was like there's just kids being kids, it wasn't that they're doing things that were so detrimental to the point where but there's some things where it's just like me and my brother have this talk with my mom all the time where she's always like finding out different, oh, you guys did this, you guys did that. Cause how it is when you get older, you start telling stories your parents don't know about. You're like, oh, wow.
Facts.
But it's always funny because whenever there's something that happens, on the shade room or online, and it's like this kid did this, and then my brother and myself were like, "Mom, see, we didn't do that. We ain't that bad. Like we never did that." So it's just funny to see, like, okay, yeah, cool. Seniors are trying to paddle these and initiate these guys into getting into high school. The freshmen.
I remember I was talking to you about that. I was like, "Yo, we did that low key in high school,
bro.
Like we used to beat up on the ninth graders and stuff. Yeah, like we used to beat up on the ninth graders when we were in 10th grade and stuff. So like I remember it, and I remember them trying to do it to us when we were in 9th grade. Shout out to Keza, Donnie, Boobs, Jalen, like Raheem, Damien, T. Shout out all the man them from SEAM, you already know. But they tried to do that with the 9th graders when we were in 9th grade, right. And it didn't work. Like we were fighting back. So like that's why I was watching. I was dying because I was like, bro, they would have tried that with us, and they would have seen it was a problem because we were like taller than everybody else. We were doing all that stuff. So. Right. So anyway, so I was Dazed and Confused. Really good movie.
Shout out to because you said who were the other guys? I think it was Andy Goldberg. This guy played who we're talking about, but Cole Hauser, the guy with the curly hair, who also was him and Ben Affleck also starred in Good Will Hunting together. So again, when you rewatch these movies and you see like, wow, how it's kind of like when we play basketball and we're like, yo, there's 6 degrees of separation. Isn't that what they say when you play basketball? It's like you know someone that knows someone, or it's like we have
to know somebody,
right?
Exactly.
I feel like in the acting world, like when it comes to the good actors, it's like there's a certain class of them, and then when you go back and see, wow, these guys are all in a movie together in high school, or like all in a movie together in their 20s, and then you see them in other films or big budget films together later in their careers. It's just such a cool thing to see. And then as a movie watcher and lover, you go back and you see like, hey, it's that guy. Like, oh, they were in a movie together. It's so cool having those moments.
And that's what's it was actually funny you said that, because I was thinking about that, because I seen like a couple of people not reprise roles, but have another role in like a couple of these movies I've watched, and they're all the old time movies. And I was like, yo, I've only seen this person in like one movie, so I'm like, oh, I don't really remember them. But then if you look at it, they're like, yo, they're actually in bare movies like at that time, but it wasn't our time, so I didn't get to see all those movies. But then when I started watching them now, like, fam, I'm gonna talk about next one, Clue. That had what's his name from Better Call Saul. Jimmy's brother. I forget his name. Chuck. Yeah, and I'm like, yo, what the heck? The man's in this too? And bro, this is years. Like, this was done in like the 80s. That movie was done in like the 80s. And the man's in Better Call Saul now, and it's like everybody's like, oh, yo, where's he been at? Well, I've never seen him in anything else ever. And then now that I'm watching all these movies, I'm like, yo, I'm recognizing that all these people are actually in other stuff too. Exactly. And like, obviously old time movies, because as you know, I never did that. Like 2000s, 90s was like the latest I'd go. Right. And then now I'm like going to 80s and 70s, and I'm seeing so many different things. So it's a lot of gems. And Clue obviously takes place in a day, and it's just like the board game Clue, where you're trying to figure out who the murderer is. People start dying. It's kind of like that game we play, Mafia or something like that. What's it called? Yep. Is it Mafia? Yeah, Mafia. Mafia, and like just like that. So obviously everybody knows Clue. Don't have to explain that one. Do the Right Thing. Spike Lee. Do the Right Thing with Spike Lee takes place in 24 hours. Actually, very interesting. I've never seen it before. Interesting that I never seen it before. Wow. And obviously, this is why the pod's here. We watch movies. No, for sure. I have something to ask you after. And I watched 14 movies for this pod this week. So is that a record for like the most you had to? Absolutely not. Oh, we've done so many where I had to like. I remember for Angelina Jolie, fam, I watched so many movies. It was insane. So that's not the first time. And I was like getting off bootleg and all types of stuff to try to get the movie. So, but Do the Right Thing is actually, I found, bro, I'm gonna look up right now. Yo, your man's. I know. I keep calling your man's. From Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. That's Giancarlo. From Mr. Frank. Jeez, one second. I'm gonna make a call real quick to one of the viewers to ask a question. Go ahead, baby. What's a synonym for interesting? Just answer, please. Fascinating. Thank you. Yeah. So what was fascinating about this? What was fascinating about Do the Right Thing was that Spike Lee was obviously the lead actor in it, also director, writer, producer. Tough. And I was like, yo, that's tough. But on top of it, his sister played his sister in the movie, and I was like, yo, that's actually really dope to put like your sister on. And you know what I mean, put her in the movie that you're creating that ended up being like credits, critically acclaimed movie and stuff like that. And so obviously it was interesting. It was fascinating seeing Frank and Giancarlo Esposito, or whatever his name is, my dog, to see him in it because he was young. And you just sent me that. That's why it was actually funny, because you just sent me the video of him recreating the scene in the movie. And I had to act like to you that I already watched it. I was like, oh, that's dope. But I had never seen it. And then I watched it. I was like, oh, shoot, this is the part. And like, I think he's like over the top in it. And I can see some fring, which is hilarious to me. But then, there's like, there's so many actors in it.
Yo! You almost knocked me down, man. The word is excuse me.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Not only did you knock me down, you stepped on my brand new white Air Jordans that I just bought. And that's all you can say is excuse me.
Yo, man, your Jordans are fucked up.
Damn, man. You might as well throw them shits out. Them shits is broke.
Man, they looked at it good before he messed up. He did this shit on purpose, man. He was even talking about your mom.
I heard that shit to me so fun.
Martin, obviously in it. One second. Let me go to the cast list, man. There's so many people in it, and I'm just like, yo, like I don't know how I never saw this movie before. Samuel Jackson, I'm forgetting him.
The radio.
Oh my gosh, let me see the notable names: Spike Lee, Giancarlo Esposito, Ruby D, Bill Nunn, John Turturro, Frankie Faison. Mm-hmm. Yo, there's so many people in this. I'm trying to see who else. Samuel Jackson, John Savage, Rosie Perez from White Man Can't Jump, and Roger Smith. I don't know how to say his middle name as Smiley. There's so many people in this. I thought it was such a movie that was way ahead of its time.
That's what I was going to ask you. I was going to say
ahead of its time. And
the
I was
stuff
like,
it foreshadowed things, and
it
a lot of stuff that
foreshadowed
happened happens now, especially with the Black Lives Matter movements and the things that happened in 2020. When I rewatched Do the Right Thing around that time, it was like, wow, Spike Lee, and this is why he has to be regarded as one of the best filmmakers of all time, because he taps into not just a level of something that's visually appealing on screen, but something that you can go home and really talk about with your family and be like, bro, what are the reasons behind the trauma of this race, or why do people treat each other this certain way, or have this viewpoint or perspective of other ethnic groups, and or just classism and socialism that I love to talk about. But those are the themes of like a lot of his movies. And that's why I love Spike Lee, because anybody can just take a whole bunch of millions of dollars and shoot something really cool. But how do we shoot something that that's thought provoking? Exactly. So you hit it right on the head with that one, Merv. I think Spike Lee captured something that is something that, you know, African Americans, Black people, just cultures are going to be able to tap into forever, and just be able to look back on and see the climate of how certain people think, and also how the world evolves and acts.
He's dead because of his buddy. That cocksucker started all this shit. He's responsible for that kid's death. And he wanted to close me, and you stood there like a fuck, and you watched him burn me down.
I watched it. I also watched the cops murder Ray Raheem. You didn't get over from the fucking insurance anyway, Sal. You know the deal.
What the fuck is wrong with you? This ain't about money. I could give a fuck about money. You see this fucking place? I built this fucking place! Every light socket, every piece of tile. Me, with these fucking hands! You know what the fuck that means?
Yeah, it means pay me my motherfucking money. That's what it means, Sal.
Yeah, and it's not even like, I think from a standpoint of it gets super specific. Like, this is like an experience for New Yorkers, you know what I mean, that have to live in these areas. Obviously, there's all places around America, around the world that experience racism as well. But I think that he was talking from like experience, and like it was like a story, you know what I mean? Like a story, like a autobiography kind of way, like, you know what I mean? So that's why I feel it meant more. I felt it more. I felt like this was like something that he was passionate about. And you know, when somebody's passionate about something, they put their heart into it. And even there were some parts that were unnecessary. You know, it's a Spike Lee joint when it's unnecessary stuff happening. You know, I mean? We saw his movies before. There's always unnecessary stuff. But from the grand scheme of everything, I really loved that film, and I'm glad I finally got to watch it, and that this kind of forced me to watch it. As we know, viewers know, man, there's like a billion movies ever. So it's very hard to keep up and watch. And sometimes it is very hard to watch as many movies when you sometimes just want to watch shows and you want to watch do this and do that. So don't crucify me for not watching Do the Right Thing. So just let that be known now. And then I have two more, but I'm going to leave the last one for you because I think you want to talk about that. Or it can lead right into that. But anyways, Before Sunrise. I watched Before Sunrise. Let's talk about it. Don't want to say I hated it, but it was boring. Okay. Obviously, that's the movie with Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy.
Directed by Richard Linklater, a classic director, a legendary.
Yes, and I personally never saw. I never saw the first movie. Sorry, what?
He also did Dazed and Confused, by the way. I should let you know that.
Oh, sure, I didn't know.
It's great.
You're a director guy, bro. It's not directing. Directing is not me.
I just wanted to know that. I want you to know that fun fact of like it's just crazy how there's multiple directors
insane
that have done this style of premise where it's like done in one day. So
they probably have like a certain, because they have like that visual and the thought for it and the direction for it. So maybe that's why they do it.
Because he also did Slacker and Tape and Boyhood, which if I'm not mistaken, people don't crucify me, but I'm pretty sure all three of those films as well take place in one day as well. So it's like he has an affinity for doing these kind of projects.
Yeah, and on top of that, I think he has. I think for Boyhood, isn't that also a trilogy, or is that not a trilogy? A Boyhood. Or am I thinking about the other movie? I'm thinking about another movie that they actually filmed 10 years apart each time.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Boyhood?
Because he does the same thing here with the Before series, right? I mean,
exactly. So that's what I'm saying. So for Before Sunrise, I never seen it before. I never actually watched the first one, so I didn't understand going into it. But it wasn't like I was overly confused. I just didn't like enjoy it as much, if that makes sense.
Well, wait.
I thought it was just a lot of dialogue, and I am a dialogue guy. Like, I don't mind it, but I didn't. What we talked about in text, because me and Dwayne already talked about this kind of. I expressed my feelings toward it, and what I said was I felt that it was a bunch of nothing until it was something.
Okay,
and I felt like the something was the part where at the end of the movie. At the end of the movie where they're in the taxi, they're supposed to be dropping her to her house before he goes to the airport. And that's when like the real emotion came out. And all the other stuff before that was just like a bunch of talking. And I think it was a lead up to that. That's the whole point. That's the climax of the movie. But at the exact same time, I felt like it was at some point, like, it was just too much. It was just like they were just doing this. Like it was just a bunch of this. And I don't necessarily like nonsense like that. That's why I didn't enjoy the Fly episode with Breaking Bad, and I didn't enjoy whatever, because I don't like I want everything to mean something.
Yeah.
And I feel like everything they talked about kind of meant something, but there was like the important parts that I took from each thing was the part that the blow up that happened in the car and the taxi and like stuff like that. So I didn't really enjoy it in the sense of I enjoyed it from a movie watcher standpoint, but not from like a fan standpoint, if that makes sense. Like obviously because we do the pod, like I watched it, I finished it, but I didn't really want to. That's what I'm more about it. So but yeah, interesting. And then the last one, which would lead me into talking about it, is Lola Run, Lola Run.
Oh yeah, but
and then we can talk more about it because I got a chance to watch that yesterday. You didn't inform me that this shit wasn't in English. So I was like, oh, okay.
I ain't gonna lie. Some of the best movies aren't. You know that.
Yes, I can
with
agree.
The subtitles. But I
wasn't prepared. Yes, I have to lock in.
I should have said it was a German.
Sometimes, you know what I mean, man's look down, but I couldn't even look down. The entire film was locked in.
Yeah.
And it was an hour 20, wasn't that bad.
It was short, yeah.
I actually looked up some stuff with that because the movie is about Lola and her boyfriend, Manny. Manny pretty much owes these guys because they gave him money. 100,000 marks. And he's supposed to hold that money until they get there. So essentially, he loses the money on the train. And then Lola has to try to help him within 20 minutes. 20 minutes. So the movie's not even 24 hours. It's 20 minutes.
Yeah.
20 minutes. She has to go ask her. She has to go ask her father for the money. Or she has to go ask somebody for the money, figure it out. And I think that's the part that about the movie that there's more parts to it. And I think everybody should watch it. I'm not going to spoil it. But it's a very good movie. But fun fact about that is that she actually wore Doc Martens the entire time. They told her that she could wear shoes if she wanted to during the parts where they didn't show her feet, but she instead wore Doc Martens the entire time because the footfall noises were different. So she's just like, yo, I'm gonna wear Doc Martens. She's like, she smoked 2 packs of cigarettes a day. She said, I was no athlete. I didn't train for it. I just ran and stuff like that. And they said they wanted it to look like somebody that wasn't athletic. They wanted it to look like just somebody running.
Wie siehst du denn aus? Bist du gerannt? Keine Sorge, ist alles okay. Komm. Was ist denn da drin?
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, she must have had cardio on 10, fam, because she was running the entire, and when they say run, Lola, run, fam, she is running the entire time, like legit. So anyways, takes place in legit 20 minutes. So, yeah. Anyways, Dwayne, sorry. I had my 14 movies. You can go through all yours.
I have a lot to say, but I think we should take a break right here and come back. We'll be back with some more CDMs. Act 2 is on the way.
Time after time, if you fall, I will catch you. I'll be waiting. Time after time.
We are back. CDMs, issue 39, the 1 in 24 hours. And Merv talked about some great films. Before I talk about the last one he spoke on, which was Run Lola Run, that came out in 98, I just want to get back to the Before series. And I think I want to be the one that's playing devil's advocate and defending it because I personally like the film. Although I will say, even though we don't always agree, I can see where you're coming from. I think you summed it up very beautifully at the end by saying from a movie watching standpoint, it wasn't entertaining and engaging, but from someone who is, dissecting films you can understand and appreciate the nuances in it. For me, I think, I don't know if you explained it, but basically it was, American Man, Jesse, who was played by Ethan Hawke, like you said, and then Celine, a young French woman, who met on the train. And they're kind of, the way they met is, for me, it was just cool, because I feel like sometimes we go through those scenarios everyday life where it's like something as simple as people talking so loud, or people chewing with their mouths open, or people doing something that's not really common in the world that you live in, and then you having someone else beside you that notices the same thing, and then you guys connect over that. And being the initiator to you guys even, meeting, I think is cool. And it's something that's very familiar with how we deal with people in real life, where it's like, we can't stand this person talking loud on their phone. It's like, yeah, you either, like, you can't either, like something like that, or someone who smells bad or something like that, like there's always something where you and another person will meet or lock eyes because someone else is doing something in the room where you're like, I don't get down with that. Like, what are you doing? But I thought that was kind of cool. And an introduction that was different. Rom-coms sometimes have corny introductions, but to me that felt super real. And then I like the series because obviously, like you said, it's 3 films that are separated approximately 10 years in both between the film's actual time. And I like that, bro, because then it's like a lifelong franchise. It's like you grow up with it. Obviously, we didn't grow up with it because it came out, I think 95, then 2004, and then 2013. But the first one is
really? That's how it worked?
That's what I was about to say. So I think you not made a mistake, but Before Sunrise is the first one. So there's 2 after that. So there was nothing before that, but
Before Sunset's the one I watched, or another one I watched? No, wait. Which one did I watch? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I watched. No, Before Sunrise was wrong. Yeah, it was Before Sunset. People, my fault.
Okay, so then
that's the middle one. Yeah, okay, I watched the middle one,
and that's what I thought you said in text. That's why I was like, you have to probably watch the first one to kind of understand and appreciate. But okay, so and again, that's why it makes complete sense why you have this thought process towards it. But in the beginning, with Before Sunrise, like I said, it follows them 2 on the train, and they meet each other. And the 2 characters reveal a lot about themselves, their perspectives on life and all that. And the reason why I like that is because it's a minimalistic plot. And I think it keeps the film moving naturally and focused because of that. And when you first meet a female, like you take it back to when you first met Tay, right? It's like when you guys first started talking, when you really gel and click with someone, y'all talk about everything, bro. And then when it gets to the point where you start caking, bro, and you're on the phone, you're caked out 2-3 in the morning on the phone with your girl that you're really into. You guys are talking about, where you should see yourself in 10 years or 5 years, or what do you think about this or that? That's why I like the beginning of that film, because they were having a conversation about anything and everything. And again, like you said, sometimes the conversation was stupid and it was about nothing. But when you meet someone for the first time, how they react to certain situations or certain things tells a lot about their character, right? So for me, whenever, you meet someone for the first time, it's like what they go through or say or comment on certain situations has a lot to do with how they live life and if you can see yourself with them. And that's why I kind of like that too, because it's like those moments that we often take for granted, which is like small talk, is sometimes the thing that, even perpetuated you and your shorty to be together in the first place. Or like,
exactly. It encompasses everything that your relationship is about.
Right. And then, obviously, being in a relationship for a couple of years, it's like after a while, those small talk type of situations don't happen. Now you guys are talking about just responsibilities and chores and duties. And like, obviously you have fun times with your spouse, but I'm saying that the familiarity of getting to know somebody, that spark of like, oh, that's your favorite color, or like, oh, that's what you think about this fight or this sport.
Have you ever been in love?
Yes. Next question.
Wait a minute.
What?
So I can give one word answer?
Sure, why not?
No. After I went into such private details about my first sexual feelings.
I know, but those are 2 very different questions. I mean, love is a complex issue, I mean, it's like, yes, I have told somebody that I love them before, and I admit it, but was it totally unselfish, giving love? Was it a beautiful thing? Not really. It's like love, I mean, I don't know,
All that, it could be boring, but at the same time, if you appreciate that other side of the romantic comedy, I think that it could be cool. And like I said, for me, sometimes, less is more. So it's a very, very simple movie. And sometimes you just want to turn your brain off and just be like, I can relate to that, man. Like, this is, kind of sweet and cute. And the last thing I'll say is their chemistry is really dope. And then I personally, I love direction. So they have this one-shot walks that they have throughout the trilogy that is fantastic because it covers their conversations. And to me, you know, I love the one track shot, not a lot of cuts. So them just walking through from a restaurant to the town to whatever, and them having these conversations. I think it was just so dope, and not having to have all these different cut scenes. So that's kind of really why I guess I'm a fan of it. But again, I'm not going to sit here and say what you were saying is wrong. Like, no, I definitely know what you're talking about. It could definitely drag. It's one of those movies that, like you said, it's a lot of dialogue, But and on top of that, you didn't mention this either, but it's really those two characters in the movie. Like, there's nobody else.
There's nobody else. If you go look at the cast, it's like blacked out faces. There's
you don't really get. It's kind of like the Malcolm Marie with John David Washington and Zendaya, where it's like it's just them two. And so sometimes, like, again, if you're not a fan of them or if you're not really intrigued by the character development or lack thereof, then you're like, all right, bro, I'm not going to sit here for an hour and 30 minutes and watch two people talk. But, you know, if you could, you know, find, like I said, the subtle nuances in it, then it's cool. The next one, Merv, that I have, I want to comment on Run Lola. I think everything you said about it was amazing. The only thing I wanted to say and add to it was it's a Groundhog Day type movie, right? So in terms of the Groundhog Day premises and the concepts of like an event reoccurring and repeating, I think it was cleverly done because every time she passed someone, for example, I'm not going to give away the complete premise, but when she was running to save Manny, whenever she would like bump into somebody, each time the scenario, you know, recycled of her having to replay those 20 minutes, it showed a snapshot. So
of somebody's life,
of their future, right? Of their near future of what happened to them. And every time it was a different scenario for that same person she ran into.
Hey, brauchst du ein Fahrrad? 50 Mark, wie neu.
Nee.
And I thought that was just amazingly done. Like, I was just sitting there like...
It was like a butterfly effect.
Butterfly effect, like, exactly.
Depending on how she's running, how she's doing things, it changes everything for the other person. So, that was really
and
dope.
It's like it's super stylized, right? It had the animation, which is... Bro, that's why I wanted to text you about it, but I wanted you to just experience it for yourself. That's why I didn't tell you it was a German movie. But like, even there, like the whole Scott Pilgrim vs. the World is what I thought of it immediately, where it's like, or Kill Bill 2, where it's like you have the real life scenes that just seamlessly transition into cartoon. But you got to think, bro, this movie came out in 1998. So I could imagine people back then were like, yo, what the F? Like, this girl running in a staircase and it's cartoon, bro. Like, but no, I love that.
And stuff,
I love
tough.
that.
You know, that's
love
tough.
that. And the black and white, the rewind, the flash frames. I mean, there's so many things to kind of reflect the parallel timelines, and it influenced her decision and her choice making, which the butterfly effect, which is basically that. So great movie. The next one I have is A Hard Day. Pause. Hard Day came out in 2014, and man, it's a crazy movie about a detective. His name's Guion Su. I'm sorry if I'm butchering it. And he's having a hard day. And we love these movies that kind of incorporate the title into the premise, right? And it's following the events of him in less than 24 hours. And basically, he receives a divorce notice from his wife. His mother passes away. He and his coworkers are being investigated for embezzlement as like dirty cops. And he's on the way to his mother's funeral. He drives recklessly because he's, you know, taking a little sippy sip at the funeral, and commits a fatal hit and run, bro. A fatal hit and run. He tries to cover it up. And when he does that, it's crazy. He tries to put the body into his mother's coffin because he's like trying to hide the body. You know what I'm saying? Because he just hit somebody and he has to dispose of the body. So he has to go to the morgue. And while everyone's at the funeral, he's doing this really quickly, trying to put it in the same casket. He's like apologizing to his mother, like, yo, God, I'm sorry, but like, I have to do this, right? And it's crazy because he finds out that someone's been watching him all along. And he gets a mysterious phone call. And that person that claimed that he's been watching him has said that he was the sole witness, the only witness to that particular crime.
I know what you did last summer.
Right.
Boom.
And
right there.
It begins to threaten him. And the film is so smooth because it skillfully balances like the dark comedy, the action, the thriller elements. It gives us like ingenious set pieces. I mean, there's the one I'm talking about at the morgue with the toy soldier, like you guys have to watch it, but it's so well paced and effectively suspenseful. And that's why I loved it, because even me watching it, like you hear those terms of like nail biting or nerve wracking or making the hairs on your arm stand up. That was that kind of movie where it's like, oh, he's about to get caught. Oh, he got out of it. Oh, something about to happen. Oh, he got out of it. Like every single time. Like, and it really did a good job making sure that it paid off and had a lot of twists and turns. And that's why I liked it a lot, but it's super unpredictable. We love unpredictability here. So Love that movie. Y'all should check it out. Another movie that's done in subtitles, as it was, I think, shot in Asia. But man, such a great movie with the action, the premises. I think it was redone as well. The other movie I had, Merv, is Fruitvale Station. Remember that one?
Yep. Oh shoot, I forgot that took place. Yeah.
Right, 2013. And similar to like the Spike Lee joint movie that you're talking about, with Do the Right Thing, it's one of those movies that when I rewatched it, I'm like, bro, this is how the man still feel walking the streets. Like the stuff that he went through. Ryan Coogler did just a great job in his directorial debut. And man, MBJ, obviously we knew about him through The Wire when he was younger and other projects, but this was like the role, like, you know, everyone has those roles where it's like, all right, this guy, he's not a regular actor, like, or she's not a regular actor. Like, we need to get them away from the indie and put them into, like, we need to get them some exposure and put them in some roles where everyone can see them. But we obviously know it's about him. He basically has a daily routine of trying to get a job, man. And after his mother continues to pressure him, his girlfriend, and take care of his daughter and the bills, he's, you know, close to dealing basically weed after losing his job, right? And at the supermarket. And then he basically gets into a situation, right? And it's just crazy because, like I said, it details so much things that people go through, whether it's North America or in the world, when it comes to, you know, just being misunderstood. And it's a film that, like I said, it was dramatic. It's one of those films that I think when I watched it, I cried. Like, I actually cried. Because it's just like you see yourself in that character of like something as simple as you're trying to make it home safely on the train, and you're just being picked on because of stereotypes, and how it could literally end to, you know, the end of your life. And I think that's crazy.
I said, we ain't doing shit. Y'all can't fucking arrest us.
Oh, yeah? Cuff these two assholes. They're going to jail.
But fucking what? You can't arrest him.
How about that?
Get on your knees. Fucking arrest him. I'm just trying to get home. No, we ain't trying to go to jail. You feel me? We just trying to get home. We just trying to get home. Be cool, man.
Maybe you should have thought about that before you started acting like a punk-ass bitch.
No, Fruitvale Station obviously is a classic and one of the most sad movies ever. And something that we, like you said, resonate with very much so. And I think that's why it hits home more for us. But that I totally forgot technically takes place in less than 24 hours. So
right. And then I have a couple more real quickly. Falling Down came out in 1993. I love that movie because it stars Michael Douglas, and he's kind of calm, well-natured. He's William Foster, and his patience soon wears very, very thin. And his day continues to go downhill, and his desire to get home for his daughter's birthday to his wife and his daughter is met with a series of unfortunate events. Like, literally, Falling Down is one of the best performances from Michael Douglas. I mean, I'm a fan of him, and I like a lot of his movies, but he invited us to kind of feel the same frustration that he felt. And that's kind of one of the reasons why I like it, because the movie utilizes building the time limitation to kind of ante up the tension. And I think that's what makes it very good as a watch and entertaining, because you continue to see him make a series of choices that are chaotic and kind of like criminal acts that left us really like, man, why is he doing that? We thought he was a well-mannered guy, but you started to see what happens after the day takes a toll on him. And I think it's just very telling, because having a Black mother, I know what that's like. Meaning, when my mom used to come home from having, you know, a bad day at work, it's like, bro, stay out of her way. Because if the dishes aren't done or anything that
the chicken isn't thawed,
whatever you're supposed to do that you didn't do, like what? What, fam? So you have to make sure, like, and it's funny because if she didn't have a bad day, then maybe those things are not going to happen. Maybe it's just like, all right, bro, you're supposed to do your job, like everything dishwasher. But if she had a bad day, and it's like that was what do they say? The straw that broke the camel's back. Then better put on 2 hats and get the belt ready, fam. That's all I can say. But man, I like that. One of my favorite scenes in that movie is when he goes to the fast food joint, and it's just like I love these scenes. We've seen this scene in was it Happy Gilmore or Daddy going with Adam Sandler, but whenever those scenes where guys are going to try and get breakfast and they're like, bro, breakfast ended 2 minutes ago, and they spaz. Like that was another one of those scenes where he was like, I want breakfast. And they're like, we stopped serving breakfast, so you can't get it. He was like, fam, breakfast stopped serving in 4 minutes, bro. Give me my, and then it was crazy. You gotta have to watch it. I don't want to give it away.
I'm sorry. We stopped serving breakfast, but we are on the lunch menu now.
I want breakfast.
Well, you can't have it. We're not serving it.
Is that the manager?
Yes, sir.
Hi, I'd like some breakfast.
We stopped serving breakfast.
I don't want to be your buddy, Rick. I just want a little breakfast.
I'm really sorry.
Yeah. Well, hey, I'm really sorry, too.
Get a gun! Let's get organized. Calm down.
I didn't see that one. Still,
it's a great film because he literally gets stuck in traffic. That's the opening of the film. He's stuck in traffic. He's trying to get home. And he says, F it. And Merv, can you imagine being on the Gardner, trying to get home back to the East End? And you're just like, bro, you know what? He's bad. Left his car, fam. He just left his car in traffic because it was bumper to bumper nonstop. It wasn't moving traffic. He left his car.
One of those days.
One of those days. And then from there, it just went downhill, bro. But one of the last two I'll talk about is Friday, man. Got to bring on Friday. Black Christ.
Oh, shoot. I forgot about Friday.
Yeah, yep. 1995. A lot can happen between Thursday and Saturday. Mm-hmm. And before the sun sets, Craig must basically get his friend out of trouble, smoke A. And he also has to find a new job before his parents evict him. Why every time in the kitchen, you in the kitchen? He has to... eating up all the collard greens. But he has to escape his girlfriend long enough to capture a new woman's heart. And then also gets to survive the climatic confrontation of the neighborhood menace, Devo. You got knocked out. So I love that movie, man. One of my favorite scenes is when Bernie Mac pulls up to the porch and he acts like a pastor and he's like, around here, we call that a sin. Sucker's like, what, around here, we call it 20.
What we call drugs is 74th Street Baptist Church. We call us sin.
Well, around here, between Normandy and Weston, we call this here a little twin. Wow. Nigga.
I remember that. That was a very funny movie and scene. And then Merv, I'm gonna have to go with this is the end, bro. This is the end. I have to just bring it up. Obviously, I don't want to talk about Dave Franco's brother. So
Yo, son, I forgot about that, bro. Holy, that's one of the most funniest movies ever. God forgive me, but it's hilarious, though. I mean, hilarious.
2013 in Hollywood, basically, Dave Franco's brother, we won't mention his brother's name, is throwing a party with a slew of celebrity pals. And among this, in attendance, is his buddies Jonah Hill, Seth Rogen, Jay Baruchel, Danny McBride, and Craig Robinson. And man, Merv, you know we love this movie because having these guys all be friends in real life and then kind of play on like what they actually are going through in real life is so cool. But then we go to, you know, the sudden apocalypse, biblical proportions erupts and causing them to kind of like unfold in the Tinseltown type of a lead of, it's just crazy, man. It's just so funny. There's so many funny scenes in it. Kevin Hart, when he dies, is hilarious. It's crazy.
The fuck? Get the fuck off me, seats! Ow!
Fuck you, Kevin!
Get your fucking hands on me! Get your fucking
Rihanna smacking the fire.
Hey, yo, she actually did though. I remember we read that she actually did smack Jay hard as hell in his face.
And when he does the cocaine, he's like, Michael Cera, back-to-back times I mentioned Michael Cera on the pod, man. The man's an elite, bro, Canadian legend, bro. I love that guy, but
See a psychiatrist? That's not cool.
Don't touch my phone.
Michael, that's not cool, man. Fuck up, Jason. We're playing a game, man.
That's all I have for the movies coming up, man. Before we take a break, man, let's just go to Act 3 real quick. We'll be right back with more scenedms. Don't go anywhere.
Hours and hours and hours. I could do this for hours and hours and hours. I could do this for hours.
We are back. Scenedms, issue number 3. Man, it's been a great episode so far. Man, so many movies to cover, man. I don't even know. Like, we still have some more to cover and talk about. I think we should just continue doing that. But are there any like characters that you like from these movies that you either want to spend the day with, or you just thought was just memorable or funny from any one of these movies, or anything like that? You know what I mean? Like
Sorry, the movie. I feel like this is obvious, but I would spend the day with Ferris Bueller because this man's lit. And that has a city on lock, you know what I mean? But he's a little shiesty, so I'd have to watch him. But
yeah,
I feel like you would have in 24 hours, we would have done the most things I've ever done in my life for sure.
For sure.
But yeah, I think Ferris Bueller would be up there. Maybe driving around Tom Cruise in Collateral. Actually might have been lit. I would have been an accessory to murder, but at the exact same time, Tom Cruise is that dog, and the man was hilarious in that movie. So maybe that would have been fun.
Exactly.
If I'm gonna die anyway, who cares? And then my last one, if I had to pick one, I would say Matthew McConaughey's character in Dazed and Confused. The man was just like, all right.
He said, man, that's why I got
you got some weed.
man.
He's like, you got some weed. He's like, no, that'd be a lot better if you did. No, man, I think I'd hang out with him. He's like super, and the thing I liked about him too, he was a little creep, but the thing I liked about him too was
I was about to say, watching that movie in the climate that we're going through now, it's like there's inappropriate stuff with the underage stuff. But
bro, in every movie I watched, I was like, holy, back in the day, I was like, Jesus God, it was like, yeah, OD. But Matthew McConaughey was like he was hella chill, and he seemed like he was like cool with everybody. Like he was cool, like a popular guy.
Remember when he got when they caught them on the field later, right? And then the cop seen him, it was like, yo, like they're from like the same class, basically. Like you're still
yeah. Like, man, what are you still doing in high school, man?
He's like, let it go. Like, you're so jealous of my MVP award, huh? Like, how old is this guy, bro?
Yeah, bro. No, but I think I'll pick Matthew McConaughey for sure as my last one. What about you, though?
I ain't gonna lie, that was a great pick because that was definitely one of the. Again, we talked about it earlier in the episode, but one of those breakout roles for him that turned him into a superstar, right?
You got a joint?
No, not on me, man.
It'd be a lot cooler if you did. You gotta do what Randall Pink Floyd wants to do, man. And let me tell you this, the older you do get, the more rules are gonna try to get you to follow. You just gotta keep living, man. LIVIN.
I also like Ben Affleck in that movie as well. But for me, I'll probably have to go with De Niro, bro. Midnight Run, one of my favorite movies. I like his character in that because I think it's one of those situations where De Niro, we've seen him in Raging Bull, we've seen him in Mean Streets, we've seen him in The Godfather Part 2, we've seen him, and the list can go on and on and on with all these kind of movies. But then in 1988, for him to kind of play a comedic actor, it was like kind of the shift in the tone for him, where it's like, bro, now, I mean, again, nowadays we see him in Meet the Fockers and all these films. It's like we're used to it, but back then that wasn't the case. It was like he was a gangster kind of actor, and so to have him play that role was so funny. He was always cussing, but he basically was this guy who's a bounty hunter, man. I love those bounty hunter type movies, and he's Jack Walsh and his character, but he cussed so much, and there's just funny scene in there where he has to get the criminal back home safely, and the criminal is saying something like, I don't want to fly, don't bring me on the plane, I'm claustrophobic, I'm dystophobic, and De Niro's like, bro, I don't care if you're claustrophobic, dystophobic, dataphobic, and the second you're about to be fistophobic, fam.
That's crazy. That's insane.
I started crying, bro, but he's so funny in that movie, man. He has such great moments, and again, that's probably one of the characters I want to spend time with.
Dog, man. Get the dog.
Heidi, come on, girl. Come on, that's a good girl. Come on.
Don't move, I'll shoot you right through the glass. Get over here. Put your hands up against the wall. Your hands up against the wall. Spread your feet.
I can't fly.
What?
You heard me, I can't fly.
No, you're gonna have to do better than that, pal.
No, I don't have to do better than that because it's the truth. I can't fly. I suffer from aviophobia.
What does that mean?
It means I can't fly. I also suffer from acrophobia and claustrophobia.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you don't cooperate, you're gonna suffer from fistophobia.
And then I'd probably say Alicia Keys from Smoking Aces, bro. She was such a badass in that movie. Smoking Aces, remember that one? That's a movie that took place in one day. That had an amazing gunfight scene at the hotel near the end. But she's definitely someone, not just because she's fine and she's fire, but because the way she was handling the gun and everything was so cool. Just seeing her kind of like, it's kind of like Common. Common was in that movie too, but like when you saw Common and John Wick, and you're just like, oh, I didn't know she could, or he could do that. Like, not disrespecting Alicia Keys, but just seeing her, it's the same one that sings "Some People Want It." She out here blicking people headshots. Like, she's crazy, right?
Yeah.
And then lastly, I would say Escape from New York, man. Escape from New York, 1981. One of my favorite characters is Kurt Russell, man. He plays the Snake Plissken. And we've seen the one, Escape from LA. We talked about it before, but Escape from New York is also funny, turning the city of Manhattan into a maximum security prison. And he basically has to, save the president from there and get the cargo and get out. And he's just so funny because he's so non-caring, bro. He doesn't give a ish about anything. He literally says that all through the movie. He's like, we want you to do this so you can get this guy out. And he's like, I don't care.
4 hours and you're a free man.
24 hours, huh?
I'm making you an offer.
Bullshit.
Straight, just like I said.
I'll think about it.
No time. Give me an answer.
Get a new president.
We're still at war, Pliskin. We need him alive.
I don't give a fuck about your war.
Like, it's like, all right.
I really don't.
Yeah, he had the eye patch, and he was just so cool. It was just a great movie, great concept. Actually, Merv, last one I'll go with, bro, Superbad, bro. I'm probably gonna go with spending the day with Seth Rogen and Bill Hader and Superbad, because remember that also is a movie
that was
24 hours.
You're right. I would definitely spend the day with them too.
Yeah, because they were funny, man. And McLovin had the time of his life spending his time with them. So it was just also something cool just to throw in there really quick. But that's pretty much it that I have for the people that I would spend my day with in 24 hours.
You don't want to be a chick in a bar, man. Seriously. That was a major turning point in my life is when I realized that you got to go to other places. You got to go to spin class, a farmer's market, pumpkin patch, given the time of year. Just somewhere social, non-threatening, you know, something like that.
I met the missus at paintball. Yeah, shot her in the neck, and we just hit it off, you know. My first wife, who is a whore, by the way, where do you think I met her? A bar.
Bar. Was this bar.
Okay. Well, obviously, we're running out of time here a little bit.
But ladies and gentlemen, I have a game to go to. So
yeah, facts. The dude's doing this before again. It's dedication right here, people. But you already know we're about to do our, what is it called again?
Heat check.
Heat check.
Hurry up.
I have some questions that Dwayne's going to get all wrong, so it doesn't matter anyway. And I was writing them down as he was talking. All right, first question.
Go ahead.
Which brother combo was in Ferris Bueller and Breakfast Club?
Oh, that's a good one. Who is it? Over one.
Charlie Sheen and his brother. And what's his brother?
Martin?
I forget his brother.
Pops. This is Pops.
Yeah, Martin's Pops is
Charlie Sheen was in that movie.
Yeah, what's it called again? I'm gonna get the name, but you got it wrong. Anyways, Emilio S Stevie's.
Okay,
Stevie's. Emilio Stevie's. Yeah, that's it. What was second question? So you're 0 for 1. Second question. What was Lola's power?
Oh, the screaming. She was damn near Mockingbird or whatever her name is.
Yeah, exactly. She was
yeah. Hey, I'm gonna take her to Vegas so we can play craps together next time.
Okay, 1 for 2. Third question. How does Ben Affleck's character in Dazed and Confused get pranked?
The kids throw is it like milk or what do they throw over his head?
I don't know. What is it?
I don't know what it is.
What is it? Final answer. Give me a final answer.
I'm gonna say milk or paint.
No, pick one.
Paint.
Damn it. Yeah, you're right. It's white paint.
He's like, where are you looking at?
Two for three.
Okay.
Fourth question. Who makes a guest appearance in This Is the End? Other than obviously those stars. There's somebody that makes a guest appearance.
Channing Tatum?
Yes. All right. Good answer. Wow. That was actually
that's crazy.
This one, if you get this one, you're actually really, really a movie guy. So you're 3 for 4 right now. You're probably going to go 3 for 5. How much did Mookie and Do the Right Thing make a week?
14? I don't know. How much did he make a week?
$250 a week.
$250 a week. Okay.
Because that's why the owner of the store gave him $500.
I don't want
that. And dashed it back at him. Yeah. All right, boom. So 3 for 5 for Do. As we wrap this up, obviously we're going to give our recommendations real quick. Do.
Damn.
I go first. First, I'm going to go with Phone Booth as my movie recommendation, and TV show recommendations is just 24.
Those guys stay. That's damn. Okay, for movie, I go with A Hard Day. Pause. And then I didn't do a TV show, so I would invite everybody to. You know what I'm gonna say, Merv? I'm gonna say Pineapple Express because I recently watched that again. It was funny, and again, I don't condone anything that one Franco guy does in his personal life, but that movie's hilarious and also taking place in one day. And I love Seth Rogen, so I would suggest that again for you guys to rewatch it because it's hilarious.
Facts. All righty then, Do.
Yes, sir.
It's a wrap up. Do gotta go, people. So wish him good luck in that game, Do. But before we go, appreciate you being here. Obviously, the rundown. Appreciate everybody listening. Follow us on scenedms.
Talk about it.
Instagram, Twitter, not Snapchat. That's wrong. TikTok.
That's a Snapchat.
I'm not
TikTok.
I'm not up with this stuff now.
The website, YouTube.
The website. Yes. CDM.com. And then also like, subscribe, follow, comment. You know what I mean? Share. You know what I mean? Just give back to you. Give back to the people them. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
If you're listening and you're supporting, just keep supporting. And we'll always be giving you more content, more studied content, as you can see. And yeah, man. So
yes, sir. And shout out
merch coming soon. Don't worry.
Merch coming soon, very soon, very soon. Season 2 merch coming very soon. It's in the lab right now.
But you said shout out Big Marlon.
Yeah, Big Marlon, Body Marlon. Shout out Marlon. Saw him at the game last week for our home game, man. Shout out Marlon. Follow him on Instagram, Marlon Lenzo. And this is how you can get all of your audio or digital creator needs done. Man, he's tough with it. I'm telling you, he's doing a great job with our season right now. So shout out to Marlon. If you've been
listening or been watching, fam, tough. Tough.
But yes, sir, that's it, Merv. Great episode. Gonna be here next week. We have a good one, bro. Have a really good one. So make sure we see y'all there, same time, same place next week. Yo.
See ya.
Gotta go. Yeah, baby. It's checkout time. Gotta go, nigga. Gotta go. Y'all know what time it is. Come on, man. Get y'all bags, man. Call that bell, motherfucker. Time to come get a nigga shit.